I had doubts about the show Gotham the moment I first heard about it, and it kind of reminded me of Birds of Prey, the last live action, Gotham show, and how that turned out for the audience. Gotham is essentially kind of like what they did with Superman in Smallville, and that this is basically an origin story drawn out in like 7 or 8 or 10 seasons. Now I have watched pretty much all the episodes of Gotham. I'm up to date, so I'm I really like it so far. Obviously, the only problem that I have with the show is that usually whenever you have a show that's centered around Gotham, Batman is pretty much present throughout, you know, the series. So the old, I mean, even something like Smallville, like they dealt with him when he was young, but they started him off in high school in the show, and he was still kind of had his like abilities somewhat, and he was learning new stuff about himself as he went along. So, even though he wasn't Superman per se, he had still has some of his like abilities and was, as I said, learning different things about him throughout the show. So he was kind of more like a Superboy than, at least at the time. The problem you're gonna have with this show is that with Gotham is that will people want to watch Batman's world that is not centered around Batman, and that uh, that uh, that question is what is going to make that show either succeed or fail, because it's going to be the deal breaker. If they can deal with it, if it's that good, then then the guys got their money's worth. But if they can't accept it, then this show is pretty much going to end very quickly. Though I've heard that the show is pretty much scheduled for like a full season, for the show, like 22 episodes. So obviously they are really being successful in what they're doing, and people seem to really like the direction they're going. And one of the interesting things about the show, something that they don't really see in a Batman story or in a story centered around Gotham, is just how corrupt, and just how corrupt and dirty the city really is. And it's the characters in the show are good enough, at least for the standards of first season. uh I really don't really have a problem with any of the characters at all. I really have to say, but probably my favorite character of all of them is probably the Penguin. And I don't want to spoil anything, but if you watch the show, you probably would understand why I would, or why the one thing I do have certain problem with, at least certain characters, is that they really try a bit too hard to hint on the fact that some of these characters are going to be important later on. Like Bruce Wayne always like trying to test like test his like his fear or conquer his fear or by like uh hanging off like on the edge of his house, uh burning his hand and whatnot. And then you have Poison Ivy, who as soon as you go into her room, plants are everywhere and whatnot. And and Oswald is always referenced as the Penguin because of pretty much how he looks and whatnot. And the Riddler always having some sort of yeah, it's really they kind of push it a bit too hard, at least in the first few episodes. But as it went on, they did kind of actually toned it down a bit. You don't really get that much anymore. It was only like in the first three or first four episodes where they were really trying to like hint on the fact that this is obviously going to be the Penguin. This is obviously going to be Poison Ivy. This is obviously going to be Catwoman, because they hint at it a little bit too much that it doesn't seem as subtle. But that's pretty much all I really have to say. I mean, the show is still like new. I think it's like up in its. I think only 6 episodes have been aired. I believe I lost count, but so they're like I said, there's really not that much to say. But from what all the episodes I watched, it's really good. The casting um are really are really competent choices. I think all the actors fit the roles well. I really like the the young Jim Gordon and the and Harvey Bullock and whatnot. And it's but that's basically it. I mean, I won't be able to say any more until until probably until like the end of the season. I'll probably do another video, maybe like a part two of this, so that and whatnot. But yeah, that's not really much of an informed video, obviously. It's pretty much just me rambling. But I do enjoy the show. It is one of the shows that I'm actually really anticipating. How I want this to succeed, and it really is seeming like that's gonna happen. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Uh, Thank you for enduring my rambling and nonsense and not much of an informative video, kind of pointless. I don't know. I mean, but if you do enjoy this, then well, good for you or whatever. Or I guess this is where I will sign off, and I will see you around.